Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, so what do you guys want to do about this? You guys want to try to prevent upfront pay stop? Or are we just going on upfront pay stop? Or what do we do here? Because we're already spending over an hour on this, and like, I don't know if we're making much progress.
We should prevent, of course, Jane.
How? How are you going to do that? You want to do like a? You want me just to do the work for you, or what? What do you want to do? Like,
No, we will just tell us. We will be the one, Jay. Just you can advise us what to do.
Well, I did that last time. I spent over an hour on it last time, and obviously it didn't help much.
Time to pause.
Yeah, let's do a 5-second pause. So, first of all, I feel like my main proposal here would be proposal to change the deadline for the worker criteria involvement verification. I feel like it doesn't make too much sense to have it be during the evaluation, because all we ever talk about during evaluation is worker criteria involvement. So it seems like it would make more sense for the worker criteria involvement to be on a deadline that is more either random or something other than the worker actual session. Because there's no need for it to be aligned with this individual specific monthly session, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll add that to the list of proposals.
So will it be? You're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we could propose to skip this month's worker involvement verification and postpone the deadline and do policy tracking for, I don't know, 1 hour for the team. And then you said you spent 2 hours on it?
Yeah.
Plus additional 2 hours for Joyce. So I would say that Joyce
Time
does
for breath.
breath. You want to do the breath, Joyce?
Yeah. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Relaxed.
So the proposal would be to skip the month's worker involvement verification and postpone the deadline, and then do policy tracking for 1 hour for the team plus 2 additional hours for Joyce. So Joyce would do 3 hours of policy tracking, and everybody else would do 1 hour of policy tracking.
Okay.
And then the goal would be to set up the responsibility organizing correctly, and to get the worker involvement verification done properly. Does that sound like a good plan? Because I don't see how we're supposed to do it here unless we basically break a bunch of policies anyways and not actually do the work. And we're not supposed to be doing work during sessions anyways.
Yeah, we are supposed to
So,
train how
so what?
Is it front pay stop deadline?
What, Jay?
Is this an upfront pay stop deadline?
What? Which one is one?
The correct worker criteria involvement verification, is it upfront pay stop?
Yeah, it's a upfront pay stop deadline.
And why are we making it upfront pay stop?
I don't know, Jay. That was the proposal before. Upfront pay
So
stop.
I would also propose to make worker criteria involvement verification to be a half pay stop. Because I think our internal deadline should be more like half pay stops, and then our external deadline should be more serious, should be the upfront pay stops, you know? But the idea that the internal worker verification, which obviously is not a priority, we're barely doing, is like the same level as like our taxes, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those would be the two proposals I would vote on. So then the only question is when we want to change the deadline to. So maybe we could say 2 more weeks, or we could say like the quarter moon or new moon or something. I don't know. When do you guys want the deadline to be?
Today is March 15th. The first quarter
How
is
about,
2
yeah, how
weeks.
about we just do 2 weeks? So we could do 2 weeks and we could say like, you know, April 1st.
Time to pause.
5-second pause. We could say April 1st, or we could do it
Yes.
around
April 1st.
the first quarter moon is in 13 days, 2 hours. So we do first quarter moon.
First quarter.
We could do April 1st. Any preferences?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What day is April 1? April 1st. April 1st is Saturday.
Yeah.
And then for the normal deadline, I think we should
First
be
quarter.
getting to some of the other like lunar cycles. Like there's a bunch of other lunar cycles, like the dissension and the lunar. I can't remember the cycle. Lunar orbit. I don't remember what it is. Anyway, so there's some other lunar cycles that we could use because we're having some issues with our, you know, the deadlines overlapping and people are concerned about. So this could be a good way to do that. But anyways, are we good or what? What do you guys want to do?
Yes, so first quarter moon. So which one?
I don't care.
Moon or
I'm gonna
first
get you guys
quarter?
to figure it out. What do you guys want the deadline to be? April 1st, first quarter moon. I mean, this is just like a one-time thing, and then we can figure out when we want the deadlines to be moving forward.
Okay, April 1st. April 1st for me. For me.
Okay, so let's just do April 1st for this time. Postpone the deadline to April 1st. Okay. So the proposal is to skip this worker involvement verification. I guess it's not skipping. The proposal is to postpone worker involvement verification deadline to April 1st. Okay, so proposal is to propose worker involvement verification deadline to April 1st and then do policy tracking for 1 hour for the team plus 2 additional hours for Joyce. Are there any questions about the proposal?
No.
Are there
No
any
question.
concerns?
No.
Are there any objections?
No objection.
Objection.
Time to stretch.
All right, so let's take a 30-second stretch and
Stretch.
have consensus on this. Standing up. I'm going to copy and paste this into the decisions channel. Okay.
Okay.
Then the next proposal is to make the worker involvement criteria verification be half pay stop. Are there any questions on this proposal?
None for me.
No question for me.
What you mean, Jay? I cannot understand this.
So currently, for example, our taxes have upfront pay stops, right? And our worker involvement criteria verification is obviously not a high priority. We've done it like maybe barely a half time in like over a year, right?
So this is not an upfront pay stop. Okay.
Yeah, so why does it
It's
need
not
to
an
be an upfront pay stop if it's not really a priority? So the idea is to make it a half pay stop. Does that make sense?
It's a half pay stub, yes.
Okay.
So meaning if you are
Okay, now I
taking $4,
understand.
you take $2.
Now
Am
I
I correct,
understand.
Jay?
What, Ate?
Yeah, when you say half pay stub means that if your an hour is to $4, you'll be given $2, right?
Totally do not understand your question.
For upfront.
Upfront pay stop
Is
means
it
no
not?
pay. Half pay stop means half pay.
Okay, stop.
Yes, that's how I was trying to clarify that half pay stub means, for example, if you have the $4, you'll be paid $2 for upfront, right?
It just means if you're getting paid $5 an hour for half pay stop, you're getting paid $2.50.
2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it means. Anyways, we have Alberto here. Let's take a step back and let Alberto check in.
Hello. Can you hear me again?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Alberto.
I'm back.
We've been worried about you. You disappeared for so long. For
Yeah,
days.
Jay. Yeah, Jay.
So you want to check in?
You're welcome back.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah,
So you
I'm
want
gonna
to
check
check
in.
in?
Yeah, checking. So I'm I don't know, 1.75 maybe. Had some very rough couple of days. Family issues, bit heavy, but I'm glad I could bring myself to join you guys now, and looking forward to catch up and get back to work. Check.
Cool. Well, it's great to have you as well. So basically, we were going through the worker involvement criteria. And we spent over an hour on this last eval session. And some of the most important things that we talked about last time were specifically that this was not like the highest priority, that it would be flexible, that we don't want to basically be telling workers that they're on upfront pay stops or individual pay stops for like minor things, right? And then that turned into basically ignoring all of that, and now we have a whole bunch of emails that basically say like, Joyce or not, like Ate, you're going on upfront pay stop because your minimum wage estimate is not correct, because your jurisdiction cost is not correct, because you didn't link something. So it's just like all these minor things. So I don't know what happened, but basically, we're either going on upfront pay stop, or we just passed a proposal on line 110, topic 3.
Yeah.
110, we passed a proposal to postpone the worker involvement verification deadline to April 1st, and then do policy tracking for 1 hour for the team plus an additional 2 hours for Joyce. Those 3 hours of policy tracking for Joyce, and then everyone else on the team is 1 hour.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah, I have no objections. I think it's a good proposal.
So, and then
So
the goal
I
is
agree.
we want to set up the responsive organizing correctly and actually do all the work properly, because otherwise there's just no way we'd be able to do it properly, because it's just obviously not done correctly. So then from there on line 105, I think that we should propose to change the deadline for the worker involvement criteria, because spending hours and hours on worker involvement criteria during the evaluation session that only happens once a month, I don't think is a good use of time. And I think by making the deadline the same as the actual session, that it is just an unnecessary deadline, because it doesn't need to be on this particular time. And then it just, the work should get done, and it shouldn't really, you know, there's nothing really to evaluate. It's just like do the work, right? It's not really an
Correct.
evaluation priority. But,
Yeah,
so
I'm sorry for. Yeah, I'm sorry for that, because I mean, Joyce and I, we discussed about it, and I said, I don't know, Joyce, if you remember. Let's try to be flexible again. The most important thing is communicate to the workers about. But I mean, we never mentioned to put anybody on to be very flexible and I mean, a bit loose on this, right? Didn't we
Alberto,
say?
but
Didn't we?
that's
yeah,
not what worker criteria involvement is supposed to be, right? So worker criteria involvement is not saying like, oh, everything's so flexible, we're just going to have a laundry list of 20 things that all the workers need to do, and they're all totally like really minor and nobody has to care about them. That's not what worker involvement criteria is. You're flexible in either you're flexible because you say like, okay, they meet the criteria, because we're flexible with the criteria, and what's the priority criteria, right? That's the
Yeah, yeah,
flexibility. Don't meet the
yeah.
criteria,
That's
go on upfront pay stop, and that's what happens. Like it's not like you're flexible with the upfront pay stop side of it. Does that make sense? Like if you're communicating with the worker, it's because they don't meet the criteria and they need to go on upfront pay stop. That's why you're communicating with them.
yeah, no, totally flexible regarding the criteria still. Like for example, we said, all right, for now, what we really wanted to change from last time was only including all the criteria for the POP. And then I mean the main thing was communicating with.
But that was never agreed upon ever, right? And so that's a complete mistake, right? The
Yeah.
verification responsibility is a separate responsibility. This is not that responsibility.
But you said to include the individual criteria for the POP inside the.
I never said that. I was trying to delete as much as possible. I deleted and deleted and deleted and deleted and deleted as much as I possibly could to simplify. We don't need to add every single little detail for the POP into the like it makes a lot of sense. Like the question is simple. It's like, has your POP been verified? You know, are we doing POP verification in general? If not, then that is a problem. It needs to be addressed, but it's not like that's a separate responsibility.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
All right.
I did add all the pop
But did
that
we
you said, Alberto.
Yeah. Okay. Did we communicate? Did we communicate with the workers properly? I don't know. Did this happen?
Well, I just put one example, which is for Ate. So Ate, it says your POP, you know, basically this is a communication for involvement criteria, and they're saying that Ate, you do not meet the minimum worker criteria, and you need to immediately change the main work is not correct. Your jurisdiction is not correct. Your main body team is not linked. You do not put your value. Like these are all just like tiny little minor things.
Yeah.
Annual budgets. I mean, this has nothing to do
With the
involvement criteria. This is just
what we're looking for.
Verification.
Right.
It's not. It's like totally separate.
Yeah, we need to improve that for sure. Yeah.
Right. So basically, if you're communicating to a worker and regarding worker involvement criteria, it's like if you don't meet the criteria, you're going on an individual upfront pay stop, and you can no longer work. Period. Right. That's what individual worker criteria is. It's prioritizing things that are major issues for why the worker should not be allowed to work anymore.
Correct.
Right. And if your POP has not been verified, then That's it. Your POP's not
Yeah.
verified. You, as a worker, need to make sure your POP gets verified, because if you don't, you're going to go on upfront pay stop, right? So if their POP has not been verified, then the POP verification process itself is a problem. Does that make sense?
Correct. Yes,
And
makes
that
perfectly
relates to
sense.
what? We went over that as a team, but do you remember, Alberto, where the
Yeah.
detailed POP verification fits in to our process? Where does the detailed POP verification fit in?
In the detailed POP verification fits in
Remember the
it's
three different types of POP verifications. There's POP verification for the
for the
recruitment
budget,
process,
for the
initial
recruitment.
POP, and then you have the budget. And then what about the detailed POP verification? Where does that happen?
That's on onboarding.
Yes, part of onboarding, which is also our training.
Yeah, onboarding and training.
Onboarding and training. Right. So I think that relates to people not prioritizing their training. And so, right, if somebody's not doing their training, they're not doing their POP,
Yeah,
and there's problems in
correct.
the verification of their POP, then it's like, okay, why are they not doing their training and their POP and checking off their list of all their training over time? That's a worker criteria problem, right? But the
Okay.
actual POP verification itself is not the responsibility of the person who's doing worker involvement criteria.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? It's the responsibility of the individual worker to make sure that their POP gets verified, because it's part of their training.
Yeah.
They're onboarding.
Okay.
All right. So, anyways, I think we're on the same page on this. We all agree
Yeah,
to postpone, and then do policy tracking, and then we have to make worker criteria involved verification to be half pay stop. So we have a proposal, line 120.
And there.
Basically, I don't understand why the worker involvement verification is the same as like a taxes upfront pay stop. Like it just seems like it's just like a minor deadline, and that it's fine for it to be a pay stop, but I think it should be a half pay stop.
Okay.
So that's what I'm proposing, is just we do half pay stop. Like anything that's kind of like an internal deadline, it's not actually like a full external deadline. I think a half pay stop should be enough for those types of deadlines.
Okay.
So that's the proposal. Any questions on the proposal?
No questions.
There was one
No
question that was
question.
like, $5
Yeah, no question. Thanks.
upfront pay would go to $2.50 per half. Right, any concerns?
No.
No concern.
Right, any objections?
No objection.
No
No
objections.
objections. No objections.
So let's take a consensus. That is excellent.
Consensus.
So I personally think we are done with this particular topic.
Yeah, we should also take a break. Is nobody doing timekeeping?
Yeah, I'm doing timekeeping. I just didn't update it, I guess. So it needs to be updated.
It's not yet time for break. We need to break the.
Yeah, so we're
should
take
going to take a 5-minute break, and then when we get back, we can continue with topic number 4.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, let me copy the proposal to the decision team.
Actually, I wouldn't mind just reviewing the list of what needs to get completed for the worker involvement verification. So maybe we could do that real quick when we get back.
Your video, G.
What?
You're recording.
Okay. Yeah.